It's it's probably one of the best mindset development courses, seminars that are out there. It was recommended to me by one of my coaches about 10 years ago, and I put it off for years and years and years. And I went like 5 years ago. And I've done a lot of mindset training. I coach on a lot of the mindset stuff. I was absolutely floored in the way that this was delivered. And the premise behind the forum is breaking down the concept of we are constantly creating stories, and everything we feel is made up. And some of you are like, I don't like that because I'm really attached to how I feel, and my feelings actually have become your identity. And some people's identity is to always be offended or always be whatever. And it's like it's the story attached to the thing. So if we go back to the situation that we talked about on Friday, is the seller wanted to pay a certain amount because X. Well, we create a story all about it. Well, they don't like me. They don't see my worth. This is an attack on me. It's my like all of these things. Like, and we get really defensive. So because we're just like creating all this story. And really they needed it lined out, and they just needed more information. And they're like, oh, I was just missing the info. Right. Like, so there's always that, which I didn't want to jump into the call yet. If anyone else had any other celebrations, gratitudes, or wins that they were just dying to share with the group today. But it's just like it's so fun how all these things just kind of mesh and line up together with the content and the topic for today. Anyone else before I jump into today's conversation? Yeah, Haley.
Um, okay, so two things. I was going through a lead pond that Michelle and Michelle had given me, and just calling stale leads. And I think I've got two pretty promising leads going. So yay for that. Um, and then over the weekend, I did my first buyer consult solo, and I got them signed. So we're on a roll. We're on the house hunt.
Awesome. Love that. May I make an observation?
Yes,
Okay. What kind of lead did you call it?
a stale lead. I don't
What
know
made
what
it
to
what
call
made
it.
it stale?
They had been in the, I don't know where they came from. They were like a mix of like online leads that they had from like
Okay.
September. I don't know. I
Okay.
never,
So how do you know when a lead is ripe?
I don't know
Have you
when
ever
it's
bought
new,
have
when
you
it
ever
just came
have you
in.
ever bought a green banana?
Yes.
Can you eat it right away?
No.
When is it ready?
When it's yellow.
If you look up the data of the average consumer when they reach out and start to finally put their name and number into a website, some of them are 4 to 6 months out still.
Okay.
We in our minds think that just because we got the info, they're ready to go right away. And so we press so hard for the close, and they're a green ass banana. Even if they do say yes, they meet with you, and then they're still not ready for 4, 5, 6 months. And you're like, my clients all suck.
Yeah.
As opposed to there are no bad leads, there are no stale leads. There are people that had questions about a real estate transaction or an opportunity at some point, and we don't know when they're ready. Leads are leads. So I wanted to thank you for bringing up a powerful lesson for the group, not just for you, because I saw six other people immediately start taking notes.
To clarify, it's our fault. She called them stale leads. These were old leads that Rochelle and I had not worked, that were online leads. We worked them a little bit in the past, and then we switched systems and hadn't been touching them. So we named them stale leads. So that's Haley's. That's where
Well,
Haley got the name. You
shame
can
on
blame it
you.
on me.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Instantly fix that.
Should we call them gold mine leads?
Listen, I'll share with you a story that was shared with me a while ago. Ben Kinney, you may or may not know Ben. He is one of the founders of Place, amazing leader in the real estate space. And he was talking about there was an agent on his team that was complaining that he wasn't getting on any opportunities or any leads. And so he went to Ben and he's like, I want to adjust. I want to adjust my split. I'm thinking about leaving the team, all these things. And he goes, what's the problem? He goes, I don't have any of the leads. He goes, all right. He goes, if you keep this between us, he goes, Jolene, give me the VIP leads. And so she came with a sheet of paper and gave him the leads. He goes, I need you to call these at least 5 times each before next week and get back to me on what you think, like what happens. Okay. He's like, don't tell anybody I told you that I gave you these leads. So the agent went away, came back, checked in. He had 6 pieces of business from that list. He goes, man, where can I get another one of these leads? He goes, phone book, man. We just gave you a list. We just gave you some names and numbers, like from Circle Dials. Like, we just gave you a Circle Dial list. What? There's no magic in the leads. There's no magic. Just call the numbers. Like, follow up relentlessly. Follow up. Right? It was all mindset shift. He thought that they were VIP. So how did he treat them? Like VIP. You get a stale list. Well, how do you treat them? Stale. Well, you don't want to buy anything right now anyway, do you? Okay. Hey, I know you probably signed up like months and months ago, and I'm just checking in one last time because you probably already found something, right? As opposed to, oh my gosh, hey, I just saw you were on one of our websites recently. I was just checking in. How's the search going? Do you need us to adjust anything? Are you ready to go take a look? Have you seen the kitchen of that one? Which one? Well, let me send it to you real quick. Let me show you. Right. Anyways. Great topic. So Mindset Monday, right? Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. And there's only 2 challenges that real estate agents ever have, and it's not enough leads or too many. And the challenge of not enough leads is that, number one, you're not doing the work to take care of them. And by too many is you think by having more, you're going to have a better opportunity of converting as opposed to taking care of the leads that you have. Right. So there's a really interesting middle ground there. And the studies have shown that no single agent can handle more than 90 names at a time when really looking to actively follow up with anybody. And everybody's like, I need like 500 or 1,000. Like if you got a database worth that many, like keeping in touch with a list of people is different than connecting with and converting lead opportunities. So I just wanted to share that little tidbit there before we go into today's Mindset Monday conversation. And yesterday I was listening to a podcast, and man, this was like one of my friends does a series called Throat Punch Thursday, where she shares quotes that feel like quotes that either punch you in the throat or you wish that somebody did, like they hurt so bad. Right. And so this one was really, really good. And I'm going to share it with you. And it caused me to like just kind of go down this rabbit hole. And I really wanted to share it today. And the quote was simply this. It says, quote, imposter syndrome is just the fear that other people are judging you as harshly as you're judging yourself. Let me say that again and slower. Imposter syndrome is simply the fear that other people are judging you as harshly as you're judging yourself. And I was like, ooh, shoot, there's something there. Right. And so then that quote reminded me of one that I always like to say to just remind myself, because if I'm being fully transparent and honest, imposter syndrome, judgment, fear of how others see, perceive, etc., for me, high on the list. It's something that I work with, and it's if you had to ask me, like, what are my biggest challenges as a coach, as a leader, as an individual, it's this, right? Like I have such a huge desire to grow, and on the flip side of that is like, what if I'm too much? What if like someone doesn't like this? Or what if I offend the wrong people? Or what, like, if I say that, am I going to get fired? like all of these things, right? Like what I really want to say to my coaching clients, will they ever get back on a call with me if I say it? Versus, right? So the second part is, if you really knew how little people think about you, you wouldn't care so much of what other people think about you. if you really knew how little people think about you, you wouldn't care so much about what other people think about you. And the reality is people aren't thinking about us. It's only us. We're our own worst enemy, right? And if we dissect the word imposter, what is an imposter? What's the definition of imposter? How would you describe an imposter? What's an imposter?
A fake.
A fake, yeah. Someone disguised as, attempting to pass as, acting as if, attempting to trick someone into thinking, right? And so around a lot of that feels disingenuous, feels almost subversive, like it feels negative, right? That's like as if you're trying to trick somebody. And I know that we're not trying to trick anyone, and yet it's like in order to, well, let me scroll down into here. This was a really cool breakdown of how this was talked about, right? If I were to ask you, how would you define who you are? Are you defined by what you do or what you believe? Who are you really? How would you define who you are? Are you defined by what you do or what you believe? See, because what you do is how other people see you, and what you believe is how you believe or see yourself. What's interesting is that both of them are kind of connected, right? Because you begin to believe what you do. The activities that you do actually create and craft who you believe you are. However, in order to become or do something different, bigger, or outside of yourself, you've got to sometimes do things that you've never done before. And so as you take them on for the first time, they're new. And so it feels different. And there's a period of cognitive dissonance. In order to become fit, you have to eat, move, or act like people who are fit before you are. And once you do the things that somebody that's fit does, and when you start to eat or move or track like someone who's fit does, then you will become fit. But for a while, you're doing fit things and you're not. And that's a weird place to be. And most people quit before the being adapts to the doing. Same thing with when you're attempting to go to the next level. One of the challenges that I see with a lot of individuals is that they grow and they become an amazing solo business owner. And then the next decision is, okay, what's next? Well, being a great agent isn't the same as being a great team leader. Being a great agent isn't the same as running a team or an organization. However, if that's your desire, then okay, there's a whole new skill set that we take on. There's a whole new level of activities that feels weird and feels impostery, and all of a sudden it's completely new, and it's challenging, and like you now get to spend all of this time in this world of unknown, fear, a little bit of judgment, and then you're attacking your own programming. It's really, really tough, especially if you're out there on your own, which is why this is the most important thing. Everybody at the top sees, recognizes, and is freaking encouraging the shit out of you guys that are out there doing it in fear and in faith, because they know exactly what it felt like to step into a new being by doing things you've never done before. All of the weirdness that you're feeling or the fear. Here's the thing. We only fear judgment from the people that ain't doing shit. Because the people that are crushing, they're like, let's go. What do you need? How can I help you? Come on. Here, reach my hand. You got one more in you. Let's go. Another rep, another day. Make another call. Here, let's knock 5 more doors. I guarantee you there's a yes on these next 5 doors. Don't stop now. The sun's still out. We have 5 more sheets. Let's go. While the have-nots love to watch you stumble. Here's the thing. At the end of your life, you will be judged more by what you've done than your intellect. There's a lot of really smart economy professors that aren't making a ton of money. And there's people that are in the economy that are crushing. Knowledge doesn't equate always to the opportunity. Now, I'm not saying anything against education. I'm from the educational world. I was a professor. I get it. I'm not speaking to that. I'm not elevating, or I'm not looking to demean anyone in that capacity. There's just people that like their life's mission is to serve and to teach, and I love that. And their goal isn't to X whatever, right? What I'm simply saying is that we cheer for the underdog. We root for those that are actually that are in the game, that are getting dirty. And the thing is that the qualities of determination, of grit, are only forged through a string of simple and little failures along the way. And and for so many of us, it's the fear of what other peoples will think as we fail along the way that holds us back from even starting. And I encourage you and I challenge you to lean into that discomfort. And if there's anything, begin to develop a habit of action first, despite feeling, because it's through the action that the feeling changes. You don't feel like change. Like if you wait to feel like you're ready, or if you wait to feel like you've earned it, or you wait to feel like you're valid, you will never move. I encourage you, jump in before you're ready. Take action before you know the finish. Because if you're on this call for a specific reason, is that you will figure this out. You will, once you're in it. Look, I know one thing. Moms, dads, families in here, like, guess what? When push comes to shove and you have no other option, you figure it out. We'll get food on the table somehow. We'll get everybody to daycare. We'll get everybody to school. We're going to get to the sporting events, and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. We'll figure it out, right? I trust that no matter what, we'll figure it out. You guys are so resilient. So why I share that with you is this, is that our emotions are liars, and fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And the people that are killing it are just playing in the puddles. They're stomping around and splashing around in fear. And I encourage you to go have fun, put on your galoshes, and go freaking jump around in them puddles. It's fun out here. Get sloppy, get messy. And the last thing is, if you risk nothing, you become nothing. And here's the thing, when you have nothing is when you're the most dangerous, because you've got nothing to lose. Make a choice to take a chance for everything to change. What'd you hear? What are some of your thoughts? What's bubbling up inside? What's in your chest? What's in your stomach after hearing some of this here, right?
Part where you said if you really knew how little people think about you, you wouldn't worry about how other people think of you. And I'm like, dang, that's so true. Because that's literally a daily battle that I have to fight is, oh, what are people going to think? Like in so many areas. And it's better than it used to be, but it's still there. And really, I think it's something we all struggle with is, or have struggled before, maybe not today, but at some point we've all struggled with that. And it's like, that's really true because I'm not sitting here thinking about, oh, what's Michelle doing today? How's that going for her? I'm just focused on what I'm doing. And we're all doing the same thing. We're not sitting around wondering about everyone else. So why do I think it's kind of like egotistical of me to think like, who all these people are thinking about me and judging me? No, they're not. um, they're not. They're worried about their own stuff. And that was probably my favorite quote that I've heard you say in a while. And you say a lot of good ones. I just really like that one.
I'm just a highly paid parrot. That's it. I just regurgitate stuff I hear from everywhere. Other thoughts?
No, I
Today,
love.
oh,
Go ahead,
go
Ann.
ahead.
You go, Ann.
The one that you said, and I've heard this before, but it just kind of resonated a little differently. Change the way you look at things, and the way you look at things change. I had taken a picture a while back out here at the lake, And it was before the rain and everything was kind of dry and barren looking. And there's a lot of docks that are not floating and the trees have grown up in them because it's been dry so long. But I was taking a picture because I loved the deer and the wild turkeys, and that's what I was taking a picture of. And I posted it, and immediately a friend of mine said, "Oh my gosh, that's terrible. What lake is this? It is so low. That makes me so sad." And I was just looking at how beautiful it was. So it was just like they weren't seeing what I was seeing. They were just looking negatively, and I was just seeing all the beauty in what was already there. So I'm going to go take another picture. Anyway,
Right.
just we see things differently.
Hmm. I mean, I was just at a meeting last week. It was a personal meeting, and I was just talking. I was at a doctor's appointment, and the guy was asking like what I do, and so I shared with him a little bit about some of the things that I'm doing or whatever, and he's like, so you're like all over the social media and stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's a big part of what we do, and he goes, man, I hate social media. And I'm like, well, tell me more. Why? He goes, oh, I just can't stand watching everybody with their faces in their phones. I said, huh, interesting. And I'm like, I love that everybody's got their faces in their phones because then if I'm there, I'm in front of them. I said, it's a lot easier for me to have 500 people watch my video than to get 500 people in a room for one presentation. And I can do that every single day as opposed to once every 2 months. I said, you know how many people, how many lives I've been able to connect with, touch, and affect because of social media? I said, social media is a gift. I'm out here, like, I'm able to transform, change lives, affect family trees, hopefully save some marriages, hopefully, keep people from, you know, a really, really bad place through my message. I said, and you see it a waste of time. I said, that's really interesting. That's fascinating. Go ahead and cancel my subscription here to this clinic. I don't think we're a fit.
He
We have
needs
the
to be on the right social media.
we have the wrong we have a disalignment in mindset. So yeah, unfortunately, fortunately for me, it opened up an opportunity for me to meet somebody else that's in my world, right? So it's same interesting thing, right? It's the same thing. What you look at, how you see it. That's interesting, right? I found it interesting. And I have very clear boundaries with my energy and the people that I give access to my life. And for somebody that I'm like really like I care about like my health and my well-being, man, I don't need somebody that's living in that much negativity. The energy was so off, like I didn't feel good. I had to leave. Like I was like, ugh, I don't feel well after this meeting.
I think there's something to be said about that too. Like you don't even need to understand why the energy is off.
Just
Uh,
trust them. Yeah, I
it's
just
just,
trust them.
yeah, trusting the energy. And that's even with clients. Like we don't have to take every deal. Sometimes the energy vampires are the ones that are going to stop us from getting 3 or 4 or 5 other deals. So you just have to pay attention to that.
This is all full circle, right? And so before when I challenged you, I said, if you've got clients that you don't like, it's because you're hiding in your marketing. You're hiding your true self. You're hiding your voice. And so you're attracting people that don't know really who you are because you don't know who you are because you're not allowing it out there because you're afraid of being judged by who you are. Right. And so when you put yourself out there and when you're actually creating compelling content and you're reaching out to people to really help them at a high level, and when you're creating a pipeline of opportunity, you don't have to say yes to those that you're not in alignment with because of scarcity, because you know that you've got other opportunity to be able to not only do business with enough people, but do business with enough of the right people. And who's the right people? The people that respect you, that like understand what you're doing, that aren't trying to battle you and challenge you, that like like there's a vibe, there's a connection or relationship with, right? Life is short. This is your business. You're in the driver's seat. You're the boss of you, but you got to act like a boss. Stop acting like an employee trying to get away with coming in late and taking an extra long lunch. Act like you own this. Act like you own this thing. Take some pride in your business. I didn't mean to shift it there at the very end, but yet I did. Sometimes the biggest challenge is you guys are still acting like the employee trying not to get fired. If you were watching yourself in your own business as if you had to hire yourself in the way you're acting right now in your business, how long would you stay hired? If you had to pay yourself a salary for the way you show up for your business, that's the biggest question that you got to ask yourself some days as well. So all of it goes back to full circle. What would you do? What message would you cast? What content would you create? What relationships would you connect with and cultivate if you released your own self-judgment? Because people out there aren't thinking about you. If you released your judgment for yourself and unlocked and just let yourself be. That's my challenge for you guys this week. What's the one thing that you always wanted to do or would like to do this week that you've been holding back because of your own self-judgment? I challenge you to post it. Tag one of us. Share. Some of you will. Some of you won't. You have to live with it. Not me. You get to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the week and go, did I actually show up for myself this week or did I hide again? That's on you. And I believe you can. I believe you can. All right. It's time. I appreciate you guys. I want to honor time. Have an amazing week. We'll see you Wednesday for the next iteration of the 4-week pipeline challenge.
Hi, guys.
See you guys.